So first, thank you for being here. Thank you for accepting our invitation to bring your experience in this panel. So today, this panel is about to bring a real mentorship experience and share practical lessons, how it worked, what didn't work, and what we can learn from your experience. So together we will try to debate this point with our panelists, draw a different perspective as mentor, as mentee, and as a partner. First of all, I would like to introduce our panelists. I will start with Mary. Mary with me is an experienced mentor who has supported junior colleagues across different organizations and has also been involved in structured mentoring initiative. Welcome, Mary, in this panel. Victoria Riapton is a project specialist educator and trainer with strong experience supporting women, especially migrant and early career professionals through education and mentoring. Welcome as well, Victoria. Emre Onkibar is international relation scholar and project manager at PIXI, working at the intersection of theory, practice, and support systems. Thank you, Emre, for being with us. Elizabeth Freitas is a full-stack developer with experience in emerging technology and has recently been mentee while completing her master's degree. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being with us. And last but not least, Gonzalo. Gonzalo Silva is as well a full-stack developer, lecturer with experience mentoring students in both academic and applied contexts. Thank you, Gonzalo. Thank you all for being here with us again. The first question that comes to our mind, and based in your experience, and maybe we can go through one by one. What made the mentorship experience successful or unsuccessful from your lived experience? Maybe you can start with Mary.
I think establishing a contract or a way of working at the start kind of builds the framework for how the mentorship program will ensue and continue. So I think that sets it up nicely. It's the expectations. So as a mentor, asking what is it that you want from the program, how can we support you with that, and then setting out my expectations. So I'm a busy professional, I have lots of things to do. So if we agree on this time, I expect that to be respected. If there is any issues, let me know in advance. So just kind of setting up those parameters so that there's a clearly outlined program of how we might do this, and then also being respectful of each other's time and space. I also think that active listening is really, really important. So not jumping to give your advice immediately. Allow the person the opportunity and the space to feel safe to confide in you some issues that are happening. So sometimes it's just general stuff, like I'm having difficulties with a colleague. She's maybe overstepping the mark and she's doing too many of the tasks. I want to feel part of the team, but I feel excluded. And it's allowing them the space then to kind of figure out, okay, what do you think you could do to communicate more effectively with that team member? Not always jumping to the solutions immediately, but allowing them the space to kind of come up with the solutions. And then, adding that from my own experience, something similar happened and this is what I did. But not necessarily telling them this is what you should do. It's just giving them some kind of steer as to, this is how I would have worked on that myself in a similar situation. But I just think it's really important not to be immediately going in with all the answers, because it's not about fixing someone or saving someone. It's about allowing them the opportunity to think through the process, and also then maybe giving some examples from your own experience of how you might have navigated that.
I have the feeling that you are talking about based on a concrete experience. Can you share like an example or that something happened with you?
I think sometimes, I mean, from my own personal experience, it might necessarily be professional. I know if you're confiding in a friend and you have a situation that you're not always looking for them to say, oh God, yeah, you should do this, right? Because it just feels like actually you weren't listened to. All you want is a safe space to vent your frustration. And maybe what's more beneficial and adds value to you is for them to ask the right questions. How did you feel in that situation? What made you do that? How do you think you're going to move forward? Do you need any help? How can I support you? So those kind of questions, you feel more supported and comfortable, and you also feel like that this person trusts me to make decisions, you know? So you're not giving the control or you're not handing over the reins to someone else to fix the problem for you. You're actually kind of being empowered to come up with the solutions yourself.
Critical thinking.
Yeah.
Critical thinking. Okay. Same question for Imre. If you can, from your perspective, what make the experience, mentorship experience, successful or unsuccessful?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, this is a complex issue in a rapidly changing world. That's the tipping point for me as I'm starting to think about it. And the environment we are surrounded by is kind of complexity, representing that complexity as well. And we are living in the same space, and we are doing the same thing, and we aim to do this. At the end of the day, we happily accept it, and then we accomplish the thing. Yeah? This is the basis of the whole thing, actually, the mentorship. And the transparency between the mentorship and success somehow intact. And therefore, for my experience, I would say the most important term or concept to define this program should be consistency. Yeah? Because the fast approaching to everything is kind of affecting all individuals in front of these complexities, and the mentorship program must basically give the consistency competent to everybody's life, maybe in social life as well. Yeah? And therefore, first and foremost, again, I definitely promote the concept of consistency. And as I am very obsessed with willingness and motivation, I also kind of designing these approaches, so-called mentorship program, one of them, within the term of inclusivity as well, yeah, and diversity as well. Because of the fast approaching tracking processes and everything, we also need to take consider of the modern life struggles and the identities comes up with that. And therefore, the mentorship program must be well designed in this modern aspect of the term itself. And in my own experience, again, I really find this hard to get in touch with the mentee, for example, when I just want to give an instruction, you know, just an instruction or pointing out a concept or whatever. So this is the basic of the whole thing, the practical thing, but behind the scenes, I think there are more complexities, as I already mentioned. I tried to be briefly explaining that one as well. So yeah, my own experience and my own definition of the program can be framed like this.
Thanks, Imre. Victoria, from your own experience being mentor, being trainer with women, with migrant, from your perspective, what makes the mentorship program successful or unsuccessful?
Okay. From my experience, successful mentorship is when based on real life challenges. Yeah, so when you do it with some practical needs, yeah, and when you try to help in practical way. From my experience, I've worked with migrant women, and it was like they need, emotional support and also practical. So it was example like one woman tried to find a job in a bakery, but she was afraid about her language barrier and something else. So I gave to her some, practical tools how to make CV, and also try to support her emotionally. And then she found job very quickly. So, from my opinion, it's need to be in real needs. And what about successful mentorship? It's when mentor try, to fix everything during first meetings. And sometimes I also have experience that mentee think that mentorship is like magic solution. When you go to your first meeting, you just solve all your problems, but it's a really long way, and you need also to be involved in this process. So it needs to be with clear communication and practical and emotional support.
Thanks, thank you, Victoria. Gonzalo, as you being, you have a long experience in mentoring special students, either defending the bachelor or the master. For you, what is the main metrics to measure that your experience as a mentor or this mentorship program for you it can be successful or unsuccessful?
I think the base is to build trust and try to motivate the student. This is the main part of all the mentorship. And after that, try to put them in situations related to real-world application of the problem that we are working on. So, for example, I had a student that wanted to make an application for a veterinarian medical center. So we thought about it, but he never had connection with that area. So I have a friend that is a veterinarian, and I took him there, a meeting with him, and discussed in an informal way, try to the student to understand how the business work and how they work inside the medical center. That thing, I think, it motivates him to work better and try to understand the business and try to solve that problem that he has in his hands. So this part of when you do something to help someone, it motivates you. It motivates you to do a better job. Okay? And for trust, I think the mentor and the mentee need to trust each other. How we can build that? Like some conversations, not about the problem itself, but about our daily tasks. Try to pass my experience and how I deal with some questions in work, in projects, in how we do the processes. And I think that that connection of the mentor and the mentee will evolve with these little things that we talk about. So I think trust and motivation for the student is the best thing to get to the final end of the project.
Thank you, Gonzalo. Back to Elizabeth. Now she's mentee in our in this panel, but also she is a mentor, and she has an experience in mentoring students. So, being that you have the experience being as mentor as mentee, so you have the experience or perspective from these different two worlds. But I will focus as being mentee, and my question that. What is one thing that you wish your mentor had understood from the very beginning?
In the beginning, I expect clarity, how we will work with the mentor. For example, the meetings that we have, and what kind of support that I could ask for my help. Okay. I also think it is important in the beginning. The mentors say that problems can happen and things adjust. Normal plans is normal and steps along the way.
I think that it's great. It's a great point that should be bringing. I mean, from the first conversation between mentee and mentees, that we prepare our mentee that it will be a problem, that you need to be able to face it, to adjust it, and everything, that we have this flexibility in our work plan. I think that it's great point that a mentor should bring it in the conversation with the mentee. But I would like to talk about the challenge. And especially the only challenge that can be happen or can be identified like that during the experience of mentorship. So from your experience again, what is the biggest challenge that can happen at the beginning? And it's an open question. Feel free, anyone that can tell to answer.
Pedagogical approaches for me is the most important thing, especially critical pedagogy. Why I'm saying this, because of the complexity of the issues. You know, we are speaking about clear communication, emotional support, clarity, etc. Consistency as well. These terms are basically side effects of the whole thing, the whole successful program. But the pedagogical approach is the main thing that you basically transfer everything by the means of the frame, you know, by the means of the word, understanding of the word, by the means of understanding the problem, etc., etc. So in this case, I always go back to my academic roots. So I'm here actually to give that in this panel in particular, to give that academical approach as well. So basically the process of the pre, during and post processes, they have all its own dynamism behind. So if we have a clear pedagogical approach behind this program, then we can have also the categorization of the individuals and their specific roles between the mentee and mentor. Why I'm also saying this, because if we really want to make the clear communication, what does it mean? Yeah, we just speak in basic terms, basic language, informal language, or we should then suddenly turn to twist to formal language, when, how, you know. These are really complex issues, and I think the communication between these two sides is very sensitive in this term. And we are also talking about not only the relationship in the business sector or whatever, but it can be expanded to some extent for example, to individual mentorship programs as well. This is a huge topic. Yeah, so the pedagogical approach must be implemented critically, and therefore the mentor can be the real mentor in today's terms, in today's settings, yeah? Because it has no definition, after all. It is an abstract term, after all. So we should define these processes academically as well. That's what I think, personally.
Okay, so basically the main challenge that you were facing in the beginning, and that's also open for our panelists, that's we have this challenge of the communication with the manager, maybe the expectation different from the manager and the mentee, maybe the confidence and the trust, also that's a challenge. So from again, we are here to share your life experience. What is for you what the challenge that you identify from the beginning?
I would be more of an advocate of simplifying the process and not making it so academic, because at the end of the day, it's cross-sectoral. It's not about going into academic institutions, albeit we'd have Gonzalo here from an academic institution who's supervising maybe PhDs or master's students. But take this back to construction companies, right? These people are not academics that are mentoring, they're industry professionals who mightn't understand some of the terminology we're even using about pedagogy, etc. So I would say the language is important in keeping things very simple about a contract, basically, between two people. Okay, what are my expectations? What are your expectations? You mentioned flexibility, love that, adaptability, because things happen. And as you pointed out, Emery, as well, we're working and living in a very fast evolving world, right? Everything is moving at a really fast pace. So we have to consider that when people suddenly they have a new meeting request, etc. Things will change, things will happen. And as long as there's a clear communication around that between the mentee and the mentor, then they should be able to work out how we, move forward to the next stage. One of the challenges I would say as well is just there is a power dynamic at play, okay? The mentee is coming to you as a mentor because you have more experience than them. So there is a power dynamic in the room. I think that's an awareness around that is kind of important as well. And why I say that is because from a mentee perspective, it's important that you understand that the mentor is not going to solve all your problems. And as a mentor, your job is not to provide all the solutions to this person, it is to listen to them, to give them the safe space to thrash out what the issues are, and then from your experience to say, do we want to role play that? Do we want to role play that communication and give them practical examples and practical tools of how they might move forward to, learn how to communicate more effectively in their organisation, or learn how to delegate more responsibly, but not necessarily telling them this is what you should do. So it's just, I think that's a really big piece for me, is just this kind of awareness that there is a power dynamic at play, and that is treated responsibly and respectfully as well.
Yeah.
You should never give them the solution.
Yeah, I would.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
But everybody
you need
wants
to work.
it.
Yes, but everyone wants the solution.
There is a contradiction.
Yeah.
It's not good for. I don't think it's good for them.
The mentee come always with this expectation that the manager knows everything, that the manager has a solution to everything.
That's the thing.
Yes, that's,
We learn with them too.
Yes, I mean this is also the good or the best part being a manager, that we are learning and having also we are facing a new challenge with them. But again. Just want to have all the experience from all the mentors. Victoria, what can you tell us about the challenge that it happened in the beginning with your mentee?
Yeah, I will share my own experience. It will be about migrant women, of course. So many women I worked with, especially migrant, came for me with low confidence and really bad experience with government institution, with employers, and also with educational system. When they complete some courses, they can't find job because nie mają uprawnień.
You don't have certifications?
Znaczy mają certyfikat, ale nie mają takich, wiesz, super uprawnień, żeby jakby, wiesz, no, tak powiedzieć. No takie, że nie wiem, no skończyła, ona skończyła nie na księgową, nie? I ma te uprawnienia, ale nikt ją nie chce, bo to nie są takie super uprawnienia, nie? Wiesz, o co chodzi?
They have just basic?
Yeah, just basic certificate, you know, but it's not like, no te uprawnienia, powiedz to.
It's usually said as certifications.
Yeah, but for employees, it, you know, it's nothing.
Like
So
qualification, diploma,
yeah,
degree.
degree, yeah, but it's need also nostrification, that's you know. So because of this bad experience,
The recognition probably not recognized.
Not recognized. Recognition you mean?
tak,
That was about certification, I think.
nie, to też, ale
This also.
okay, that's
It's so hard.
So, yeah, so we talk about, you know, this negative experience and low confidence. So because of this problem, some mentees again expect very fast results. So magic solution, I'm here and you will help me and I will find job and everything will fine. So and another problem, while they did not believe in their skills at all. So me as educator and mentor, as an educator and mentor, I had to learn how to discuss these points in a clear way and without, you know, pressure and judgment. Just gain clear communication and support. So it was for me the biggest challenge here.
It's like a lack of patience, and especially now with this new generation, that's all the time. I mean, getting things really fast. So they have this lack of patience that they don't know that it's about the journey that they will enter. It's not about, as you said, a magic solution that will provide them to solve everything. I want also to bring the perspective of mentoring you, Elizabeth, and usually we are talking about that mentor not bringing the solution, not the solution, immediate solution for the mentee. From your perspective, what you would like to know, or what's the mistake that sorry, that is not your question, it's the question of the mentor. But I have a similar question for you in that sense. That's what you would like to know as a mentee before hitting the experience in mentorship.
I think this not question is last.
The last?
From a mentee perspective,
Okay.
where is the line between being supported and
Okay, also
being
that's a-
micromanaged?
Yeah, that's also a good question that we can have with you.
For my perspective, support means that I can ask for help when I need it, and I need space for try things. Fail is normal. Try things on my own. Micromanagers is when the mentor is not believing in my work, in my perspective, because check small every step that I have to do is checked is right or wrong, and I don't feel comfortable, and show that mentor not believing my work and is very, very strange for me.
So we don't have this binary answer that is it right or is it wrong. always there is a space that we have another type of the answer, that it's open, and also the mentee would like that the mentors listen the perspective of the mentee. Yes, I think that it's something that mentor need to bring it when he building this communication between the mentee, and here it comes to the point of the trust and building trust between these two perspectives. From your perspective again, what helps building a trust between a mentor and the mentee? What mentor need to do as an action point, or as action point to build trust with the mentee? It's again open question. Anyone can jump to
The experience, I might say, first of all, the experience must be on the table, and it can be, this is my experience, you can take it. That approach is very important, I believe. It is not it's a not selfish process. And also, that mentor must update that himself or herself, right? Because of the effects of AI, for example, nobody needs a mentor. Can I say that? Yeah, why not? Everybody can ask to AI nowadays. And physically you need to be there, that you are authentic and you are offering the so-called right approaches. Yeah? So these can be promoted as building a trust between these two sides. Again, first, the experience must be shared generously, because it's a sphere of success, careers, and these are very things that we are confronting in life, especially in the cross-sectoral businesses as well. So, and the second one, the updating yourself as a mentor is a very good starting point, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
I think sharing is really the main point. When you share your experience, when you share how you solve some problems in your career or in your life, and I think if you try to connect with that person, sharing your personal and professional experience, it creates an empathy, and it kind of motivates that person to do a better job. I think sharing it's the right word for this trust building.
Also, if you can bring another perspective, this in building this trust, not only the action that builds the trust, but also the action that may break this trust. So I think that it's really important to, if you can share what can build the action that builds the trust, and also the action from your experience again that broke this trust between the mentor and the mentee.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
I think if you want to build trust, you need to model behaviours that are trustworthy. So if you tell somebody, I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock. If you discussed something really important in the last session, that you pick up and say, how are you doing today? And you're friendly and you're open, and you might pick up on a point that you discussed in the last session, because again, it's giving the person, the mentee, the cue that you were listening, you were present, you understood that what was being said was important, and you're picking up again on that point. Again, demonstrating that you're present, you're listening, you're there for them, you're supportive. Authenticity, you mentioned that as well, Emery, but that's really important in the sense that you give some honest accounts of similar experience that you faced yourself, and that you say, from my own personal experience, this happened. You're building that rapport because you're sharing some personal information about yourself, some personal experiences that have happened to you, and that's building trust. Honesty, so you say what you do what you say. Again, that person is looking at this and saying,
okay, brilliant, she's here, she's, but if you're going to say something and then not follow through, that doesn't build trust. So it's all your small little actions that you're doing. The behaviour that you're modelling in front of this person is something that they are taking note of, and it's something that you should be conscious of and aware of. I think mostly they're the kind of things. Also just about the mentee as well, showing your interest in them, asking them some questions about themselves, and that builds trust, because again, you could say, if they're interested in soccer, then you're going to say, oh yeah, I love that team myself. Now you've got this shared interest that you can say, oh, were you watching the match last week? Oh, that's great. That's building rapport, that's building trust. So it's those little things where you can find a commonality with this person and saying, okay, I'm going to take that, and that's the thing I'm going to use as my little, anchor really, in terms of how we can build this relationship. Because again, we're all human beings, we have a lot of commonalities. Yes, this is a particular type of relationship, but in the end of the day, this person could be quite similar to you in many respects and might have shared interests, and there's something there that you can use as a way to just even start the conversation. It's a bit of small talk, but sometimes you need the small talk to get into the deep talk,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's see if you agree with me, in indirect way, the mentee, it's always see his mentor as a person that he's look up at him. So
as an hero.
yeah. I think that even if it's not immediately, but indirect way, we usually have this feeling that the mentee see has the mentor as person that he look up at him. So what do you think? What do you think, Victoria?
First of all, I totally agree with you all, so I can only summarize. Firstly, be responsible, so being on time, do what was promised, try to remember in details about mentee's situation, because it's always make difference when you are involved in this process. And as you all say, it's very important to share your own way and your beginning. I always make something like that with a migrant woman and tell my story, my starting in how I started in Poland, and it wasn't like a dream job. After a month from a new country, it was really a long way, step by step. I tried to develop myself, my skills, and solved a lot of problems and started, from washing dishes in a restaurant. But when I'm, like a mentor and speak with mentees, they think that I, was a mentor all my life. But it's not true, so I always share my own story, and it helps,
Yeah, that brought a good topic. Actually, I was going to tell about the narrative and the meaning making. It is crucial. It is very crucial for a mentor to make this happen. Yeah, and so this is also. Of course, this is we're talking about a variety of topics, variety of things that can happen in that sense. But mentor really need to be a good storyteller.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
To say yes.
And that's a good topic. Yeah.
So I always try to use this storytelling from my beginning. This First of all, I watched the TV. Then I went to the university, and then I'm here.
That's right.
Okay, Elizabeth, as a mentee, always looking for a feedback from your mentor. So, what kind of the feedback that helps you to grow?
For me, clear feedbacks with examples is more easily. I understand what the feedback is, and improve my ability to understand. If the feedback is vague or only negative in my work, made me feel insecure and no trust in the mentor, less motivated in the work.
So for positive feedback, always something good for mentee to grow,
Yes,
to
and
move on.
objective feedback with examples and illustrations is more clear for the mentee.
Yeah,
I
because
think it depends on the person, because some people are motivated with some harsh like negative, and they are motivated to do better, and other mentees like the constant approval. You need to read the mentee, and it's hard for the person, but some people are motivated more for the negative and try to improve, and other people for the positive. It depends on the person, I think. For Elizabeth, for example, they want to show a good job, and then always negative is bad. But some people only improve with those negatives.
they take
It's my
negative-
experience.
Yeah.
I had one student that was, I don't know, nothing really motivated to do. He did a good job, but it was really hard to motivate. I tried with multiple. I really feel badly. It was really hard for a mentor to try to motivate a person. Yeah, I don't know how to explain this.
But it
was
the
hard to
role-
read that person
It is the role of the
and choose the
mentor
right approach.
to motivate the mentee.
I think yes, but you need to be out of the box as well. I'm not saying that, yeah, go and resign. This is not the type of mentorship.
Of course.
Yeah, right. But in this sense, out of the box brings some creativity as well. Not only objective obsessions or, that successful criteria should be maintained always, like demanding, not like that always. No, this negativity also brings some creativity. So you need to motivate, but in the most realistic way, I believe. And realism consists of many things, such as devastation, such as euphoria, many things, and it's on the table again. So, in this sense, of course, I'm coming back to the issue, as I'm the academic expert of the psychoanalysis, and a mentor must also have this therapeutic skills in some ways. In some ways. So this is my also experience in a way. Yeah.
I think it's interesting listening to the commentary, because for our particular program, this is a voluntary scheme, so there's people who are volunteering their free time for this particular program. And so, understandably, an employer-employee relationship is different, because there's an actual contractual obligation to fulfill specific work tasks, etc. Whereas with this scheme, it's a voluntary scheme. So we're asking people to come together, right, in a kind of partnership, kind of a matchmaking scenario. And you're saying, I'm giving my time and you're giving yours freely, not paid, unpaid, right? So that changes the dynamic of that relationship slightly. So in terms of feedback as well, I was listening to your point there, and it's really interesting information for me, because I'm a bit like you, like the old, you're doing a good job. But I welcome constructive feedback. So where I can make improvements, it's always welcome. And an approach we use sometimes is we sandwich the feedback. We start with a positive, in between there's a bit of room for improvement, and we finish out with a positive. So we try and reinforce that kind of, you're doing it. Because you know what, you'll always find that there's something good there.
Yes.
And it's just to soften the blow. You don't want to be, like, it can be really, if someone receives really negative feedback, it can be really destructive, actually.
Yes.
and a confidence, knocker, where that person's just leaving with confidence on the floor. And you don't want to do that, because what you're really trying to do is motivate the
To
person.
alternate, so people need some push to grow, and then good job.
Yeah.
It's ups and downs.
Looking forward to seeing what you're going to do in the next week or two, even. You know, like you're going out with a hope, like this is going to be good. I can't wait to see what you come back with. You know, next week.
Exactly.
So it's just kind of keeping that positivity, that hope alive as well, that things will progress. And so yeah, that's kind of my piece there, just around feedback, but just I think just the relationship as well, just because it's voluntary, it's a little bit different. It's not quite employer-employee, so the same rules technically mightn't be applicable.
Yes.
You know.
I understand. Yes, when you're paid, it's different because there's an obligation, there's a contract. When you voluntarily, it's only for your own good, for your.
Well, the question for me as a mentee then is, if you're coming to those sessions, this is your own free time, this is the mentor's free time, and you're not willing to engage in the program or you've lost motivation, then the question is, why are you here?
Yes, why?
This is your time, you know.
Do something else.
Well, I mean, again,
Go to the park.
if we look at the therapeutic skills, we'd be asking the question of, am I comfortable with silence? As a mentor, am I comfortable to sit here and this mentee is saying nothing to me? Am I comfortable to sit here with the silence and say, this is your time? I'm here, I'm still here, I'm still showing up for you. You know, but it's up to you to use that time because, you know, you're the person here now that has come to me to look for some support and guidance. So I mean, more often than not, people do come with actual scenarios, you know. So it's unusual to sit there for the hour session and not say anything. But I suppose sometimes you have to be aware that life happens outside, things happen, someone could have a really bad day coming into your session. And it's just to be able to allow the space for, you know, I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, it reminds me the thing that I was thinking a lot. Like we're talking about a sector which is you need to offer someone who has fewer opportunity. You know, this is a sector that you need to promote. Someone never happened before, like something like that. It's like it has a really low demand in this sector, and we are trying to motivate. So in this sense, I think the persuasion and the mentorship's belief to the idea behind it, male sector. What does it mean? You need to be very open to that, and you need to be very freely promote that you can do it, sort of action. I can do it, this is a thing that the historical roots, but the mentor must also get that idea, especially in terms of this specific project we're talking about. So that's also very crucial in this sense, right? You can do it, but that's the thing.
Yeah, and this, I mean, when you were talking, this opened a question about the time and the boundaries and the expectation from perspective of the mentors and from the perspective of the mentee. So, how do you manage the time? How you manage the boundaries? How do you manage the expectation as a mentor? For instance, as I said, we are comfortable to have a sound in our mentee. So there is for each session with the mentee, we have kind of expectation that they will bring work done. For instance, that they will follow the instruction that's been agreed on previous sessions. So there are different expectations as a mentor from the mentee. So how do you manage your expectation? How do you manage setting the boundaries in your relationship with the mentee? If you can share any tools, any habit that usually you are considering in your relationship.
In the meetings with the students, I try to optimize the time that we are spending together because there's little of time. Our meetings like half an hour, and we try to focus on the crucial points. That's about the time. We need to focus on like the small talk first. It has to be okay, and then we focus on the tasks that he has to do in that week or in those 2 weeks or a month, whatever we planned it. For boundaries, I don't understand what kind of boundaries of the relationship.
Yes, yes, because a mentorship, I mean, usually we have time with your student. It's minimum of 3-4 months that you are working with your mentee. So how you manage the boundaries? Or do you have any expectation?
My expectation is always a good work. I expect from the student that not about the end objective, but how he improved in the time. Like for if it is a final project from IPP, it's like 6 months that I need to be with it, or a year. It depends. Depends when they talk to me, or when they invited me to be the supervisor. And my expectation is always high, most of the time. I expect from them work and motivation, all of that. But I expect every single week or every single month they improve and bring something to the table. Not only the tasks that I give him, but only new things that they discover and they practice. All of those things. That's the boundaries. I think if we have a good relation since the beginning, those boundaries are like open boundaries. You can talk to me whatever you want. I'm here for you to help you. So the boundary is teacher-student. It has to be respect. It has to be all these things.
But that's not always happen. For instance, we can have a student or even in a relationship in supervisor and their worker, they have this lack of respect. They have
yes, I have both of them. I have the ones that treat you like you're a robot, almost. I'm a person. Talk to me. It's okay. And the other one that it's too open sometimes, and I listen, of course. I don't criticize them, but for me, it's you passed the boundary. But most of them are 20, 21 years old. They are kids, so we need to understand them and try to be at their level sometimes.
So management the boundary, it's with listening with them, see what makes them to do that, and see how you can solve this point. From your perspective, Victoria, management to the boundaries, your expectation, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I have some experience as a mentor and as a mentee, so it will be interesting, probably. First of all, it's very important to discuss, how often we would need, how long the mentorship process would last, and what kind of support mentor can offer. Because some mentees have different expectations, again, magic solution and whatnot. So you always need to discuss it in clear way and explain that mentor does not everything, and it's not about have all the answers, but it's about giving right questions and also learning together and support. So when I see that mentee have really huge expectation, I just try again to discuss and change these plans to maybe more smaller steps to make some, way to these more expectations. And what else? That's all.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. I want to close this point with you, Mary, and if you can bring from your experience how to manage these boundaries and this expectation. Is something that you make it clear from the beginning in the first session, or something that along your mentorship journey you start even some instruction? What is your way?
I, like Victoria, I worked with disadvantaged groups in my 20s and early 30s. So I worked with homeless populations, women who left the prison system, and I did a lot of this kind of support work that Victoria did. And I learned a lot of lessons actually through that as well, because it was definitely boundary issues everywhere there, But again, open, honest conversations are always good. So saying, I'm here as a support worker, and sometimes the boundaries are a bit blurry because people really do see you as a support, and then you have to go into your professional role. So you have to be careful, because obviously there's ethical concerns, and there's all of this around, this is a vulnerable population, etc., etc. So you have to be careful. So yeah, communication is always like, look, I had a scenario, I'll give you this is just an example of something that happened. I was working with a lady who had been out of the prison system. She was staying with us, and I was doing some work with her around getting her back into employment and getting her into education. And in fairness, she did that, but we would have these social events in the organisation. There was probably about 12 service users who stayed there, and we had some kind of barbecue at the back, and there was photos taken, and somehow someone spotted her Facebook profile with me and herself like this in the photo. So we had to say, okay, I'm not sure who her contact group are, etc., like who's seeing this. So I had to have a conversation with my line manager to say, I'm not comfortable with it. Like, the photo was taken without it was taken, but I didn't consent to my image being used.
To be used in the social media.
Yeah. So there was a conversation then that was just like, listen, we just have to be careful that you get consent and permission from people when you're taking photos like this, because sometimes people don't want to even be on social media. And that was the conversation that happened around that. But in terms of this kind of a relationship here with boundaries,
what was her reaction?
She was fine, absolutely fine. Yeah, it was just an honest and open conversation, just around respect. And that we had to kind of reiterate, it's a working relationship here. So, for example, we had funders. We were funded by the probation service in Ireland. So if the funders saw this, they might start questioning. She works for us, and what's this? In a photo. Like, it was just again around professional, personal boundaries and consent. Actually, just about images. Because again, even for the other service users, are they happy for their images to be used also? So it's kind of one of those things of like, you can sign a form to say you consent your image to be used or not be used, all that kind of stuff. But it was just a professional example. In terms of what we're talking about here, I think the agreement from the outset is useful to be able to say, what's your expectations? What are our parameters around communication? So I worked in a private academic institution, and the students just email all hours of the day and night looking for stuff. And I would come in, there'd be 500 emails waiting for me the next morning, and it was just crazy. So during those busy periods, how did we manage that? We had a little thing in our footnote or on our email saying, this is a particularly busy time in the academic year. Email responses may take up to 5 days. And that's what we stuck in all our email correspondence to try and mitigate that kind of constant barrage of, why haven't you answered my email? So again, it's around when you're dealing with mentor-mentees as well about how you're communicating. If you don't receive a response, don't worry. I'll try and answer your emails within 2 days, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So just managing expectations.
Okay. It was a rich conversation, but I think that we need to close this panel, and I will close with question for each one, and I will start with Elizabeth. Last time we were talking about the feedback that helped you to grow, but what kind that made you sit down?
Negative, basically negative, and not push. Maybe push feedback is very important when I grow up.
This is something that's only for we are talking about women and men. Something that feedback, the positive feedback is always something that what women look for, and negative feedback is something that men look for, or it's a different. It's indifferent. Okay. Last question, Emre. For you, what is an invisible, always discussed barrier that you've seen affect mentorship, especially in male-dominated environment? Maybe I should something to start with.
Okay, yeah, well, invisible.
Yes, always discussed. Yes.
So far we discussed many things and they are all relevant. But I believe the main issue here must be the gender issue, and its reflection. If you are a male mentor and you have a woman as a mentee in a male-dominated sector, this is a good case. And obviously this project might give some idea for this, right? And as I told you, like the you can do it, the we can do it approaches, I think, can work in here. And also there's probably this prejudge against women in the male-dominated sector, such as construction, and the mentor probably can have this as well. So this gives the invisible barrier to the mentor. Obviously, that stereotype is there, obviously. So hopefully this is the program that we are trying to implement, and this program can give that flexibility to the mentor, too. And that's what I believed. For example, before this project, maybe I didn't even think about it. And now I'm thinking, and I'm trying to be more professional about it, and I'm giving all of my best to promote this idea, bringing all inclusivity to the male-dominated sector, and that's a good step further.
Same question, Gonçalo, for you. What is invisible, always discussed barrier?
In our area, I don't think there is. My area is not male dominated.
Yes.
It's not like the construction. We are off and off, probably. So
Yes.
I never thought really about it. It's like one colleague or one mentor. For me, it's the same. It's a male or female.
Yeah.
I don't think in our case, in informatics, that's relevant. I think.
And
I
maybe
treat
now,
everyone the same. So.
and maybe now in computer science we have more female than
Yes.
than
It's
male.
awful.
And I want to add something here. In my discipline, it is political science and international relations, and it's female-dominated. By the way,
Yeah.
yes.
A lot of area that were dominated.
Health too.
Probably,
Yes,
yeah.
dominated by male in the past. Now it's become the opposite. Now we are seeing that more female dominate than male. A question that I would like to conclude with this panel for you, Mary and Victoria, as you have this rich experience of being mentor and participate in different mentorship program. What is the first mistake, or what? Let's do it another way. For the new mentor, what will be your advice, or what mistake that a new mentor shouldn't make?
Firstly, it's for me it's a big mistake trying to be expert in everything. And as I said before, trying to have answers for all questions. Also, giving advice without fully understanding the mentee situation. And also, one mentor speaking too much, but listening too little. And because of this, you don't know situation, and then you give some advices that can be not needed. And for mentor, it's really important to start with listening, observing, and giving a lot of space for mentees. And only after that, you can provide and give some guidelines. What else? Making mentorship without a normal structure. Yes.
And Mary.
Yeah, I mean, all of those points are relevant and important. Going with an open heart and an open mind, you know. You're there for a reason, so use the time wisely. Invest that time in that person, because this is somebody that's obviously trying to progress in their career, or they're coming to you there because they want to improve something. So it's a nice opportunity to build a rapport with a younger employee or a young person in the construction field, and you have the ability to maybe influence their choices or influence maybe their behaviour or their career trajectory. So it's kind of like an important responsibility maybe to a certain extent. So I'd say use the time wisely. Don't be given unsolicited advice. That's not your role. Your role there is to kind of facilitate a safe space for them to have an open conversation about some issues, and then maybe try and problem solve with them through examples or through role play or through various tools that you've used yourself to build your own career. And then I would say, just because I'm pragmatic, and it's not everybody that's going to be like this, but I do think that contract, that agreement that you put in place on the first day is important, because it does set the roles, the responsibilities, the expectations, and if there's kind of deviance from that as you go through, you can always pull that document out and say, we drafted this together, where are we now with this? You know, you can pull it out again. It's a reference document for you and for the mentee as well. You can refer back to and say, this is what we agreed. Are we still on the same page, or have things changed?
So, thank you all. And it was a really pleasure for me as the first time being moderator, and it was really a pleasure to thank you to
Likewise.
thank you to do this panel. Thank you. And I think that we can.
So
It's really nice.